courage to change? Here we go. I was terribly confused about the meaning of compassion when I came to Al-Anon. I thought it meant making excuses for the alcoholic or covering bad checks. Al-Anon helped me to find another word for this behavior: enabling. I learned that when I cleaned up the consequences of alcoholic behavior, I enabled the alcoholic to continue drinking comfortably and acting out without having to pay the price. A more compassionate way to respond to those I love might be to allow them to face the consequences of their actions, even when it will cause them pain. How do I know whether a particular action is enabling? While this is not always clear, I find it helpful to look at my motives. Am I trying to interfere with the natural consequences of a loved one's choice? Am I trying to do something that they could do for themselves? Am I doing what I think is best for me? Do I resent what I'm doing? Oh, shit! Oh, God. If so, is it really a loving choice? Sometimes the most compassionate thing I can do is let others take responsibility for their behavior. Today I will remember that I have choices, and so does the alcoholic. I will make the best choice so I can allow others in my life to do the same without interference. This is a terribly important page. This is a terribly important page. If you can photocopy this and put it on your toilet or in your meditation book and read this every day, if you're going through the muck and mire of living with an alcoholic addict or dealing with one in your immediate family, this is imperative that you understand. I used to say that if the insurance companies really wanted to nip this thing in the bud, because so they don't have to pay anymore, they would allow for treatment for the codependent. Because if they could treat the codependent or the enablers in the alcoholic addicts' lives, those alcoholics and addicts would get well much faster. Okay? That's because, listen closely, the only thing that makes an alcoholic addict finally ready to change is consequences. It's not love. It's not screaming and yelling. It's not taking away their car. The only thing that makes someone change, anyone, not even an alcoholic addict. I mean, think of myself. I gain weight. I'm putting on weight. I'm like, oh God, I'm putting on a little weight. It's the holidays. It's all fun and games till my pants don't fit. I can't get my clothes on. That's a consequence. I either have to go buy new clothes or I got to lose some weight, right? And usually that's what nudges you when you realize you're uncomfortable. Your consequences of your own actions are painful. I learned that when I cleaned up the consequences of alcoholic behavior, so if consequences are the thing that makes someone change or try to change, and I eliminate that consequence, I clean it up, what am I doing? I'm prolonging the problem. When I cleaned up the consequences of alcoholic behavior, I enabled the alcoholic to continue drinking comfortably and acting out without paying the price. So as bad as it seems, if the alcoholic is uncomfortable and has to pay a price, prison, lose their license, divorce, loss of jobs, lose their teeth, liver failure. I mean, there's a bunch of them, right? If that consequence is great enough, they might change. But if I'm cleaning up the consequence, why would they change? Boy, that is the part. Isn't this the crux of the problem? We don't want our children or our loved ones to be in pain. You know, as parents, we would throw ourselves in front of a car before we let our kid get hit. And yet here, this reading is saying they've got to endure the pain themselves. You can't do it for them. And that really is the crux of this problem. Am I trying to interfere with the natural consequences of a loved one's choice? Am I trying to do for someone what they could do for themselves? Am I doing what I think is best for me? Or maybe easiest for me? Sometimes it's easier to just do it myself. Do I resent what I'm doing? Sometimes the most compassionate thing I can do is let others take responsibility for their behavior. Roll that one around in your head. That's a big, big, big one.